Welcome to the Victors Nation podcast. I am your host, Jason Robinson. With me right now is Derek McCarty. Derek, we had a little fun in Detroit.
We did.
A lot of fun in Detroit, man.
Fun weekend. Long weekend. My body hasn't gone through a weekend like that in quite a while. So still feeling a little bit. There might have been a couple times after college where I put myself through something like that, but actually probably worse. I think that.
Not gonna lie, me too.
We were pretty well behaved. If our wives listen to this, we were certainly very well behaved all weekend. But yeah, I mean, what a weekend. So going to a draft was always on my bucket list ever since I was a little kid. I always wanted to be at the draft, and so to be able to go to a draft and have it be a draft where Michigan dominates the draft and where it was the hometown draft for Michigan fans, for Michigan players. It was an absolutely incredible experience. So it was really awesome to be able to go to Detroit, and shout out to the city of Detroit. I mean, the city of Detroit did amazing at putting that on. So we had the benefit of being able to go with a friend who was from Detroit and knew the area. But I thought for how many people were going through there, transportation to get down to the draft was very easy. Everything I thought went pretty smooth. Getting drinks was easy while you were there. If you wanted food, it was easy. There was so much around the draft area. It was just an awesome experience, I thought. And everyone else, welcome, Dre.
What's up,
Dre,
dude?
thanks for hopping on.
I think Green Bay is like
technical difficulties,
level,
man. Y'all know how the internet work.
We do.
Oh,
We do.
yeah.
Don't worry.
I think Green Bay is pretty screwed. High level. I mean, we're gonna see what happens, but just the volume of people. I don't know if you guys even saw it, but I think it was day 2 when they closed down the draft because they're at max capacity like the second day for round 2 and 3, and people were just running past security and like through the gates after, just pushed down the barriers essentially. Green Bay, I mean, they don't have the transportations. They don't have people movers. They don't have queue lines. I mean, we'll see what happens. But man, Detroit, props to you guys. That was beautiful. Strategically well placed in every aspect. It was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dre, we were taking credit as we got this pod started a couple minutes ago. We were taking credit for being well behaved for the most part while we were there. So I think you fit in that same category with us of being well behaved and thoroughly enjoying yourself at the same time. But let's get into it. Let's dive into what went down in Detroit. All right, so we went into the draft, and when we all did our mock drafts, like most Michigan fans, we had a Michigan bias behind it, right? So we went into this weekend expecting an NFL record of draft picks from one school to be taken. We fell a little short of getting to an NFL record, but it was still a historic draft for the University of Michigan. It was still the dominating school in the draft with the most players taken, with 13 players drafted. So it was still a very historic weekend for Michigan football. But let's start out right away. J.J. McCarthy taken number 10 overall by Minnesota. I know that there's probably a lot of Lions fans out there that were hoping that he would not go to the NFC North. But me not being a Lions fan, me being a 49ers fan, I was super jacked about that pick because to me that's the best situation for a young quarterback to go to. Where we were sitting watching the first round there, it was kind of a like mixed emotion. That was probably the coolest part of the draft for me was seeing JJ taken. And the funniest part of surrounding that was when when the Giants were on the clock, everybody was sitting waiting just to make sure that the Giants didn't take him. As soon as the Giants picked and it wasn't JJ, like half of the people ran to the bathroom then.
I was real worried about that. I didn't want him to go there. I mean, he's got studs around him at Minnesota, so hell of a pick. I don't want him going there either, but it works out best for him. All of it.
Absolutely. Now, Dre, I don't know, still technical difficulties. Can you hear us? Good. All right. So you can hear us. So
yeah, I can hear you guys.
Cool. So Dre, you were in the crowd. Me and Jason dipped out of the big crowd. So for those of you that were there, you saw how packed it was getting.
Man, y'all, you know me, man, always in the mix, baby.
Absolutely. So anybody that knows me, and Jason got a good firsthand. I shouldn't say firsthand. That's going to come across weird. Jason got a good glimpse of this weekend, but I'm a person that to go a long period of time without going pee. That's not me. I if I drink all day, I need to frequently have a bathroom nearby. So we had to dip out of that big crowd because if you went to the bathroom, you weren't getting back to your group. So Dre, I don't know how you did it, but what was it like packed in? So anyone that wasn't at the draft saw the draft and saw the big crowd that was there. What was that like when JJ got taken by Minnesota?
Actually, I got a couple little videos before he was getting taken, like when Minnesota would trade it up and they end up with the trade with it was JJ time. Like it was the crowd was screaming JJ, 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 JJ. So when he got finally picked, the crowd erupted and everybody was ecstatic. It was just a great feeling to be in the crowd, to just be at the draft period, man. It was a good weekend, man. Detroit did a real good job with the draft, and just our boys being able to go when they did it was just a great feeling to see it, man. But that JJ pick, man, it was one of the best picks of the first draft. I mean, day one for me.
And how about the shocker before that? Right, Michael Penix going to Atlanta, where we were sitting, Jason. That was
I don't get it.
I don't get it. And where we were sitting, like I think it was all like I think I was kind of offended that Michael Penix went before JJ McCarthy. Like, not even was it not a pick that made sense. I was just kind of offended by it in a way because I wanted JJ to be that next quarterback off the board.
If you're going to be Atlanta or if you're going to be ATL and take an insurance pick, I'm taking JJ over Penix for sure. So, yeah, like Derek, you were saying, like where we were sitting at by the Riverwalk amphitheater, like everyone was shocked by that pick. Falcon fans were shocked by that pick. I mean, you just signed Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it was an insurance pick. I don't. It was a waste of a pick for me in that time frame. But if you're going to do that, then why not pick JJ to develop after that? But I'm still glad he went to the Vikings instead of the Falcons. But it's Atlanta, and there's a reason why they probably made that pick, and there's a reason why they probably haven't done so great in a while. So. Especially when you're up 25 points in a Super Bowl. So it makes sense. The pick makes sense.
Yeah. Easy. That was Kyle Shanahan. That was
Tom Brady, baby, to go.
Yeah.
Go.
A lot of factors.
Yeah. But, stuff like that, it just makes, I don't know, it makes me wonder is there stuff that we don't know, right? Is there something maybe not healing as quickly with Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins is coming back from an Achilles injury, right? So is his recovery not coming along like it was anticipated, right? Like was there more pressure that nobody really knew about to get a backup quarterback option? So I don't know, hard to say, but
I got a feeling they're gonna keep Penix and Cousins and trade Penix like next year's draft for some draft capital. I just don't see them keeping both of them. Even with Kirk Cousins coming back from that injury, I think I just think that was just like after they drafted him, I think they knew it was a bad idea. And I think they're going to try to capitalize on it and get some picks. Unless he come out and be like a Mike Vick or something. If he come out and be a Mike Vick, Kirk Cousins is out of here. But I think they just using him to get draft capital for next year.
We'll see. I mean, that hasn't worked out much. A few years ago, you had Trey Lance going early. You had Zach Wilson going early. The best anyone got out of those guys was a 4th rounder. Mac Jones going early. So I don't know. We'll see. But back to Michigan then. JJ was the only guy that went in the 1st round. We all had predicted at least one other, if not a couple other people going in the 1st round. That's the Michigan bias playing in there. But once we got to the 2nd round, back to back, we had Chris Jenkins going to Cincinnati Bengals, who over the last couple of years seem like they're trying to become the Cincinnati Wolverines. And then Mikey Sainristil going to Washington Commanders. So picks 49 and 50 overall in the 2nd round. What were your thoughts on those picks?
I mean, I had them guys going in the 1st round, but I'm glad. I think those are still good fits. I mean, I would have liked to see Mikey maybe go another place besides the Commanders, but I mean, it's the draft, right? So it's the draft, and I was still jacked for them. A lot of people were where we were at too, is like rooting for them, and honestly, I think they're kind of good fits. I think Jenkins is a really good fit to Cincinnati as well too. Derek, I know you had like 13 out of the 13 out of the 18 guys going to the Niners, but I think Cincinnati with Chris Jenkins kind of makes sense to me a little bit. I thought they were going to go a little bit early, including Roman Wilson. I think I was a little bit surprised about that one, but other than that, good fits. Good fits.
Yeah, for sure. Dre, what were your thoughts on those two going in their own two?
I was excited. The Bengals, I think Chris Jenkins about to be a monster for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little shocked that Washington Commanders picked Mikey. I didn't think it would be them, but hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad he got picked. You know what I'm saying? I think he's still gonna be a great asset for them moving forward. But it was just a shocking pick. Like I didn't see that. I don't know. I just never seen the Commanders. Just never came into my vision with, you know what I'm saying, with any of them. But failed draft works. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad my boys got picked. So, but I think they're gonna do real well, especially Chris.
Yeah, and Mikey Sainristil is one of my favorite Michigan players of all time, for sure. So I mean, he was one. As exciting as it was to see JJ get drafted, it got to acknowledge the fact that it wasn't all Michigan fans there. There were some Ohio State fans. There were some Michigan State fans. But Mikey Sainristil is just such a likable guy that when he got drafted, there is just a ton of excitement around him getting drafted in the 2nd round. So
if some team would have took Arnold and the Lions couldn't move up, I still think they would have taken Mikey.
Yeah,
in the 1st round.
So.
I still am confident they would have took Mikey and stayed in their spot. I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
Another
Probably
universe,
so.
I guess.
So then back half of day 2, once we got to the third round. So first round, second round, those were the 3 that were taken. Once we got to the third round, end of day 2, we had 4 more taken. So another one of my favorite picks in the draft overall by anybody, not just my favorite team of the 49ers, and including the JJ pick, was Junior Colson going to Jim Harbaugh, going to the Chargers. And so before we get to the rest of the picks in the third round, because after that we went back to back to back. But Junior Colson to the Chargers, I think if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. But there's a really cool video, 2 really cool videos out there. One video of Jim calling Melanie Colson, who was kind enough to hop on and join us for a podcast, and is just an absolutely amazing person. And then talking to Junior for the draft pick. That was awesome. And then that was followed up by Jim Harbaugh singing the Victors in the draft room in Los Angeles.
In its entirety. So, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so that one was awesome. I was pretty jacked about that one. I was hoping we'd see some guys go to Jim, so I was pretty jacked to see Junior Colson not end up in Dallas.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
For real.
Absolutely. But any additional thoughts, guys, on Junior Colson going to Harbaugh, going to the Chargers?
I think that's an awesome pick for him to reunite with not only Jim but Jesse Minter, strength and conditioning coaches as well too. But I mean, I don't want to brag, but I had Colson going to the Chargers round 237. I did. It was close, but I had him going to the team. But I think that is an epic pick. Not only is that guy just like an incredible athlete, but person, that whole story with him and his family, where he came from, that whole story is just an inspiration overall. Like, I think we're looking at a true Pro Bowler, true stud that's going to be up and coming in the NFL. This guy is going to be a beast. I cannot wait.
Same, absolutely. And anyone out there that, if you're listening to this and you're not familiar with the story of Junior Colson and what he went through to get to where he is now, none of us can do the story justice. Look it up. It's really an incredible story, and just another example that points to the type of character that this team was built around. And that character isn't just with the players that were on the team, but as we got to experience firsthand this year, Dre, you've really experienced it quite a bit. But that's the character that the families bring to the table. So if you're not familiar with that story, I encourage you to go look it up. Really, really an incredible story. Dre, any additional thoughts on Junior going to Harbaugh, going to the Chargers?
Man, I was just elated for him to go back with Jim. Like y'all said, the strength coach, Jesse Minter, something he used to. Is going to be a comfortable transition for him. It's not going to be as hard as the rest of the players. You know what I'm saying? He's familiar with Jesse's language. I don't know if it's going to change up in the NFL much, but I'm just happy, man. I'm happy for his mom. I'm happy for Steve, his dad, his sisters, man, his brothers, man. It's just the whole family, man. I love them, man. And they've been so kind to us, and there's just the bond. It'll never die for me. I'm always be a Colson, Junior Colson fan. His mom is like family to me. She treated me great, so I'm always support. I'm just so, like I said, I can't say it enough. It can't come to a better kid. Like, he just so deserving, humble. I think he's gonna be a monster in the NFL, man. I just can't wait, man. Season to come, because I don't want to just skip summer yet, but I can't wait for football season, man.
Me too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, then rounding out the third round and the day 2 picks for Michigan. Back to back to back, we had Blake Corum going to the Rams, Roman Wilson going to the Steelers, and Zach Zinter going to the Browns. Zach Zinter went to the Browns. One pick before the 49ers took a different
my
guard.
guys that made it and been doing their thing. It's a real blessing, man, to see them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a bond with some of their families, and it's just a whole blessing, man.
Yeah. It's different from just being a normal fan watching them on TV and actually getting to know them as like a human being and their families and their backgrounds. It's just this draft felt completely different.
Yeah, and we were talking about this a little bit over the weekend, Jason. I can't remember who we were talking about it to. Maybe it was just each other. I can't remember. A lot of things blended together from Thursday through Saturday, but talking about how just in general, sports fans almost take the human out of sports athletes, right? So sports fans, diehard sports fans look at players as the starting quarterback or the backup quarterback or a 4-star or a 5-star or only a 3-star, right? And pull the fact that these are just young adults that are transitioning between being teenagers to being young men, right? And so when you get to know the families and you get to know some of these guys, you realize that it's not just a 4-star. It's not just a 5-star. It's not just a starting quarterback. It's not just a backup quarterback. But we're talking about individuals that are achieving a dream that a very small percentage of people in the entire world have the opportunity to do. So, I'm not going to lie. Really wish Blake Corum was going somewhere besides the NFC West as a 49ers fan. But I'm gonna be a huge Corum fan for my entire life. That dude is just a character guy. And I really wish the Niners would have just traded up one spot in front of Cleveland and grabbed Zinter.
You almost wish that every pick.
That's true.
I want to get come to the Niners. Like you're getting close, but it was around there. I think if one or two things would have changed, it would have been a lot.
Yeah, I was saying it for the Lions every pick. I swear I was. Come on.
So first 3 rounds, seven guys taken, right? And so I think we were all pretty close to in the ballpark of that, give or take a couple of guys when we were projecting where we thought they were going to go. I was really excited. First round, second round, third round, day 1, day 2. I was really excited that Zach Zinter didn't like slip too far because of his injury. That was one of the things that I was worried about going into the draft. Is I felt he was the best interior offensive lineman in college football, but he didn't get to do any of the testing stuff. Right, he ended his season with a broken leg, and it took away his opportunity to perform at the combine and to have a pro day. In some, there's such thing as recency bias, right? That kind of stuff can get people earning buzz that they didn't have before all the testing stuff, and he just didn't have that opportunity. So I'm glad that he still was a day 2 pick, even with the injury. And I think that's a testament to what he put on film for several years. So moving from day 2 to day 3, that's where things got weird. Day 3, I thought we were going to be loaded up in rounds 4, 5, and 6 with Michigan guys being taken, but it didn't work out that way. So round number 4, we had AJ Barner taken by the Seattle Seahawks. Again, wish he would have went somewhere besides the NFC West, but that's a good landing spot for him. That guy's going to make a good tight end, I think. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I claimed Eric All also as a Michigan guy drafted in the 4th round, taken by the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, trying to be the Cincinnati Wolverines. Like I said when we podcasted before the draft, He's not being drafted because of anything related to being at Iowa.
They-
He is entirely being drafted because of what he did at Michigan and how he was developed.
And
at
they
Michigan.
showed it in the highlights. They show. I mean, I know he was injured at Iowa, but they were
Oh,
showing Michigan highlights. Absolutely. So yes, rough landing after he left, but him and his dad were very supportive on Twitter when that whole crap came out this past season. Very supportive. So can't hate on him. Just can't.
Absolutely. So let's say 14 guys, right? We'll call it 14 guys got taken by Michigan. We'll let the people that want to discount Eric, I'll discount them, but I'm including them. So then once we got to the 5th round, where I really thought we were going to start to see a run on Michigan players. Again, only one pick in the 5th round. Trevor Keegan to the Philadelphia Eagles. My brother's an Eagles fan. I told him before the draft, I said, there's a handful of players in the middle rounds that the Eagles are probably going to be targeting. And that was one of the examples that I gave him. And perfect fit for Philadelphia, right? Right after, not too long after that, you saw the videos of him being compared to Jason Kelsey, shirts off, chugging beers. So
Loved it.
great. Yeah, great pick, I think, for Philadelphia. Good to see Trevor Keegan go in the middle rounds.
I think they drafted him for other
Yeah,
reasons,
I think
but
that
I
was
think
a
it
real
fit.
good fit for Trev. That was a real good fit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely drafted him for other reasons, but he definitely gonna fit in Philadelphia real great. His personality fits Philadelphia for sure.
Absolutely. And then from there on, that even made sense, right? Getting to that point and having the 9 guys that we had drafted through the middle of the 5th round taken, understandable. And this is where things got weird, and this is where I don't really understand. And maybe it's my Michigan bias, maybe it's our Michigan bias, because I feel like a lot of Michigan fans are in the same boat. But 6th round, nobody taken. Right, 7th round. Now at this point, Dre, were you down at the draft on Saturday? Because Jason and I were not down at the draft on Saturday. We needed a day off.
Yeah, I was for day 3. I was down there for a second. I didn't stay the whole day 3, but yeah, I was down there for like the I really didn't. Day 3, I was really trying to catch the little mini helmets. I mean, the jerseys, the rings, the trophies. So I really wasn't just in the draft theater as much as I was on day 1 and day 2. So I'm not gonna say I wasn't paying attention to the draft on day 3, but I was more focused on the activities on day 3 than I was the actual draft.
So Jason and I in the group that we were with, we went a little more low key on Saturday for day 3 of the draft. With our friend being from Detroit, we wanted some opportunity to just kind of hang with his family and cook out in the backyard and stuff like that. Played a couple. We went to like a sports bar and played a couple games of bowling, which is football and bowling. And me and Jason were on opposite teams.
Football bowling.
Yeah. So my team won 10 games. Jason's team won 4 games. Not a huge deal, but it was
a rough trip. A rough trip. I got hit with a foul ball.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of that game we just played, I got hit in the groin area too. It was a rough trip. And then I got sunburn on like one side of my face. Just a rough trip for me. Took a beat. But it was fun.
So,
I'd do it again.
So Friday afternoon, the three of us and a couple other people were at the Tigers game, and the seats that were
great. I swear.
It was awesome. But we're sitting in seats that we got from our friend's mom, and his dad, before we went, said you guys got to be careful if you're talking too much there. You're in an area where you can get hit by foul balls. Sure enough, during the game, a foul ball comes, and Jason was in pretty good position to
He
catch
had
it.
it.
He got bumped, and it hit
Yeah,
him in the side of the head.
Another friend. I gotta look at that friend card, but yeah, another friend bumped me because he was going for the ball, even though I had it. And then it goes off my right eardrum on my arm. Solid bruise there right now, right to Steven.
Yeah, right.
Oh, great. I got a ball, man. Yeah, it's awesome. Good for you. And then guess what? Steve's got a hell of a left arm, too. Because the next day, like I said.
Yeah, next day bowling, he took a bad bounce.
Yeah, I took a bad bounce. He's like, is that cool if I just throw with my left arm? Yeah, that's fine. You know, you're injured, broken right hand or whatever. He's got a hell of a left.
Oh, man, I wish I would have been there to
Give
see
him that. Oh, my God, I was coughing. It was just a rough. Like, every day something happened. Every day.
Yes.
And someone had to do it.
So Friday, well,
I got one of these at the game.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, those are sick.
So
Saturday in that right now if you want.
Yeah,
got those little mugs.
So Saturday while we were laying low, once we got to the seventh round, we
slap my coke though.
There you go. We actually were on a boat for the last handful of picks. So seventh round, we ended up getting a flurry of Michigan guys taken at the end of the draft. The one that probably made me the happiest was seeing Mike Barrett get drafted by Carolina. He was I talked about Mikey Sanders still being one of my favorite Michigan players ever. Mike Barrett's right up there too. A guy that is the epitome of those who stay.
God, I was waiting for you to say that.
And so I was jacked to see Mike Barrett taken, to see him get drafted, to see in an era where people were transferring. He had several years where he could have packed it in and transferred someplace else, and he didn't. He worked harder. He got better.
Adjusted to change, like absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So I was jacked to see him, and then following him, we had Ladarius Henderson go to Houston, Jalen Harrell go to Tennessee, and then Harbaugh took one of his boys with Cornelius Johnson.
No, I thought Ladarius went to Houston.
He did go to Houston.
Ernest Henderson, yeah.
He did go to Houston. Yep. So that rounded out the draft. The 13 players, 14 if you're like me, and include Eric All as a Michigan guy that got drafted this past weekend. And then we hit the free agency, the undrafted free agents, right? So the guys that we thought were going to get drafted at some point, we did get a handful of those guys signed pretty quickly afterwards as undrafted free agents. So Braden McGregor by the Jets, Josh Wallace signed by the Rams. This one's for you, Jason. Trente Jones signed by the Packers. This one's for me. Drake Nugent signed by the Niners. Carson Barnhart, another one that I was excited to see. Carson Barnhart going to the Chargers, reuniting with Jim Harbaugh, and then James Turner signed by the Lions. So the guys that we thought were going to go didn't go. They ended up still landing on at least a 90-man roster to try and make a team for next year.
I'm excited for Carson overall, going to the Chargers.
Absolutely.
Three Michigan guys going with Jim. Like, I'm excited for him going to LA. It's awesome.
Yeah. And something that's really, really incredible about draft weekend, right? So to have 13 guys get drafted, and to have a handful of guys get signed as undrafted free agents, I mean, that shows how good our team actually was last year. The fact that they weren't all first or second round draft picks shows that it was a full-on team effort too. That it's not like the some of the all-star teams that we've seen come through, where there's a ton of first and second round players on those rosters. But I saw a statistic, and I'm not going to be exact on it, but it less than 2%. It's like 1.5% of players that go and play Division I football end up making it to the NFL, right? So and I'm sure Power 5 programs have a higher percentage of players that commit there and make it to the NFL, but still, that 1.5% of all college football player, I mean, even those undrafted free agents, right? You're in the 1.5% of doing what you do in the entire world, to even have the shot to go and make an NFL roster. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
To have this many guys on one team that are at that point.
Even signing right away, I mean, 19 guys, 19 Michigan players taken, so either drafted or undrafted. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Pretty great. And now
I
Green Bay.
was really happy with the boys, even going undrafted. I was so proud of them, bro. Like, they still got the job done. They ain't get drafted, but they still got put on the team. It's still okay with me, man. They still, you know what I'm saying? They still about to go get their first contract, and they're gonna make it around for their second contract. I think a lot of Michigan players, a lot of our Michigan guys from this year is gonna really on the NFL. And it's gonna be the draft. They're gonna call this the Michigan draft. Watch what I tell you in a couple years, because we're gonna have a lot of stars from this draft.
I agree. 100%. I mean, there could be a guy that's not taken at all that could be like the next superstar. It's like you just don't know. You got one football league out there maybe that you can go and prove yourself again, but it's like it's not like you can just go back to college. So it's just the percentages of getting drafted and then even signed after, which our guys got signed pretty quick right after that day at the end or the day after. But yeah, it's good. I mean, they're going to make the best of that opportunity, and I think Dre's 110% right. Like, we're going to see a lot of superstars come out of this from Michigan's side. I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to see a lot of guys that have that have really solid NFL careers coming out of this draft.
Yeah,
a lot of good team players, and I don't know if this is probably officially the end of this football season, and now we're probably officially on to next football season, but we're still national champs, and now next season is officially here, now that the draft is over. Next year's draft, Green Bay, you're on the clock to try and match what we did in Detroit. Anybody that doesn't know, me and Jason live in Green Bay. Dre, I know you're coming next year, but a long time to put stuff together. But anyone that's coming to Green Bay for the draft, we'll make sure that we find a time to meet up and connect and chat and talk Michigan football. And hopefully at that point in time, we're talking some successful Michigan basketball too. But Green Bay's on the clock. 2024 football season officially on the clock now too.
I think it just got announced. I mean, not really a surprise, I don't think, but Walker's coming back to Michigan. So just saw a couple articles of that before we started our pod, before we went live. So yeah, I know Blake said business is finished, but we just opened up another case. So Team 145, you're up. And yeah, like you said, good luck, Green Bay.
Well,
it's going to be a lot of work. A lot of work. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But
Hopefully VIP though.
hey, you know what? If anyone in the city of Green Bay or the Visit Green
Hey,
Bay
before we
group,
leave, I just want to tell everybody I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
sorry for what?
upgrade my internet. I promise.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Preschool internet right now. I'm
but-
on preschool
but
internet.
If anyone,
Preschool.
anybody in Visit Green Bay wants
For
to,
real, like I don't know what is going on tonight, man. It's horrible. I am so sorry.
it's coming through all right though. It's coming through all right.
Yes.
But anyone in Visit Green Bay, Greater Green Bay area, wants to trade out some ideas for VIP experience seating, I'm more than happy to offer some ideas.
Absolutely.
On that note, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If we were able to connect with any of you at the draft, I know we chatted with some of you. It was great to connect with you. But as always, thanks for listening. Go Blue.
Go Blue. Support Champions Circle.